Hey folks. Okay, let's see if I can pull this up. Where are we? So, I'm off for the moment. Where are we? That should be coming up. Saying scheduled. Is it coming through? Hope everybody can hear stuff. How you doing? It's Sunday morning, Wellington, New Zealand. I have one more show to go for We Will Rock You. We're playing the final show today at 2 o'clock, the matinee. Kind of weird that it's now all over. It's only a short season. It's been 3 weeks, but it's been a heap of fun. I've really enjoyed it. Yesterday we got a bit of a treat. We got to go into the theatre, and the sound guy pulled up the mix because they record every night, multi-track record it, for a variety of reasons. They need to have tracks so that the MD can hear what's going on, and individually, maybe for the actors, for rehearsal, if anything needs to be rehearsed during the day so we don't need to come in, all that kind of stuff. But we got to hear, the multi-track recording played back through the channels and being remixed live. For us was pretty cool. And it sounded awesome. It was really big. The vocals were really loud out front, which you kind of expect with musical theatre. But what a big, big sound it was. It was like massive. It was really loud. But I'd imagine too, once there's people in the theatre, it wouldn't be as loud. Well, it's surprising, one of my favourite songs to play is actually that's so much fun. That's a great tune. One Vision. Gimme fried chicken, right? How's everybody doing today? It's an interesting thing, isn't it? I've been really enjoying playing the Telecaster lately. I think something magic about these things. They're quite simple instruments, but I think that's what makes them great. Like if I could only have one guitar, it would be a Tele, all right? Because Telecaster does so many things well. It can do a jazz tone. Right, I can do funk tone. Can do country. Can do rock. Can do blues. Like so many things so well. Rock, jazz, funk, soul. I mean, people always say all the time, if you could have one guitar, it'd be a Telecaster. I think that's kind of it, right? There's some things I'd change about the Telecaster though. And I kind of have. If you have a look here, I took to this with a file and just kind of took the hard edge off it, because that really sucks. I'm not a big fan of tummy cuts on guitars, but I'd like to have just a slight one like they're doing on Paul Reed Smith, just ever so slight. I find deep tummy cuts, like on certain guitars, instead of the guitar sitting like that where you want it, it makes the whole guitar sit like that. And so, yeah, that's probably one thing I'd change, right? Is to have just a slight tummy cut, just so it's a little bit less hard, but hard-edged. What else would I change? I'd go a slightly bigger headstock. I've always thought that the little Tele headstock was a little bit ugly, personally, but slightly bigger, like a normal Strat headstock, would kind of balance it. That'd be about it. Maybe a humbucker in the bridge and a middle pickup, but it works as it is. Can you guys hear everything okay? Do let me know if you can. I'll play some tracks as I usually do. I'm not going to have a huge amount of time today because I've got to go and do a show. We got one more show to go, and then We Will Rock You is over. Yeah, it's gone quickly. Let's find a track. I'm just dialing this in. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute there. Let's try this one. Don't even know what this is. Anyone who's watched this before will know that I really like just kind of diving in and just seeing what's going to happen, right? Like, put a track on, don't know what the changes are, don't know the track, just use your ears, right? See if you can hear your way through it. It's kind of a very musical thing to do, I think. So let's try this. Hopefully the levels are good. We'll see. This is fusion / jazz funk guitar backing track in G minor. This is by Jam Tracks channel. Funny how much of this is predictable, right? I kind of know what's going to happen even without having heard this track before. Hopefully you can hear the track and the guitar and everything okay. Do let me know. Cool, that's enough of that. Yeah, interesting. A lot of these tracks like this are kind of predictable. They're quite like that guy Ben's tracks that I used last week. They got unpredictable chords in them, you know. They were sort of like progressions like this. These sorts of progressions. Yeah, so hopefully you can hear that okay. Do let me know if you can't, or do let me know if you can. That'd be cool. Yeah, I thought today I'd discuss a few things. I had a couple of questions that people had. I thought I'd kind of delve into those. Bit tired this morning. It's been had 2 shows yesterday. It gets a bit full on. And we had a listening session in between, so that was really cool to actually be able to hear the show through the front house, as I mentioned earlier. So I had a question about kind of what I was doing on that lowrider track. If you haven't heard that, go and check it out. But there was Daniel says, nice to tell you my band played our first paid gig last night. Awesome. Great. Your first paid gig. I remember my first paid gig. Wow, it was interesting. We used to, I lived in a little place called Stokes Valley, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere in Wellington, this little, literally a valley, kind of a rough part of town, you know what I mean? And we booked out the local sports club to go and rehearse because we wanted to set up the drums and play loud, you know what I mean? So we rehearsed, and as we were loading out, we were putting the stuff into our parents' cars. We were 15 or so, if that, maybe 14. And this guy drove past and goes, oh, you guys are a band. How would you like to play at my birthday party tomorrow night in my backyard? I'll give you $100. And we were like, at the time, we were like, wow, okay, $100 for playing music. I mean, we were just kids, really. And this guy was like, yeah, come by. And so we did. So we went and played at his birthday party. And we played like our usual kind of Metallica type stuff. And they said, oh, do you know any blues? Because we really like the blues. So we played some blues and sort of hacked away at it and whatever. Got paid for the gig. Couldn't believe it. It was like beginning of professional career, I guess. Now, had that gone badly, maybe I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. Don't know. Interesting thought, isn't it? So yeah, lowrider. Or what I was going to talk about, there was a couple of things that had a question like, what's going on in that? What am I doing? So a lot of what I was thinking is kind of pentatonic, right? It's an interesting tune. It's much more challenging than people think, right? You have this, right, which is kind of F minor. The groove is, it's usually there, but I did it over a track with Darren and Johnny that was just one that I've been recording for a new record. They've been working on for about 5 years now and just getting nowhere. COVID disruptions, all that kind of stuff. One day I'll finish it. But nonetheless, it was some grooves that the boys come over and played. But that riff, usually it would be in G, so you can play the low note. I can't. In this case, I can't get a low E flat, so I have to play it here. But that's normally the groove, right? And then you have the melody. It's kind of F minor-ish, and then very clearly F major, right? Right? Major third. Right? Kind of interesting, isn't it? Because you've got that major third type thing in there, so it kind of works major and minor. So I was kind of thinking minor most of the time, but slipping in some sort of major stuff on occasion, or at least sharp 9, that sort of thing, right? But then I was also kind of playing C altered, into F, right? I was kind of doing some of that sort of stuff that I've talked about quite a bit. I got into some altered scale, whole tone stuff. Not altered scale, what should I say? Augmented sounds, so whole tone scale. That sort of stuff. At one point I went into this like minor 6 thing that I like doing. This sort of sound, but against. And I'm not really necessarily too concerned with even what those chords are in relation to the F. They're just tension sounds. I'll play them all against it. Oh, thank you. The Crane says, nice sound. What amp are you using? It's a Fractal FM9, and I'm just going direct. So I've turned down to get it clean, which is what I do a lot of the time nowadays. The amp model is the Fender Vibrato Lux, which is pretty much the one I always use. It's the closest I've found in these modelers to my Bassman, which is one of my favorite amps in the real world. And the pedal in front of it is a BB preamp, which is one I use in the real world as well. not real heavy. Here's my clean sound, it's pretty clean. And the other amp I use on this preset is a Friedman. That's the Friedman. Use it more like a rhythm sound, and then the lead tone. And the lead tone I like to have a bit more mid-range in it because it kind of cuts and it's fatter and warmer and rounder. Clean sound I like to have a bit of sparkle. You know, you want clarity. Whereas lead tone, I want the sound person to be able to push up the guitar and not have it kind of ever go. Do you know what I mean? Steve Vai was kind of the inspiration for that. I remember seeing him play, and they cranked the guitar. Like the guitar was way out front, like it should be, right? Because it's you're going to see Steve Vai. It's all about that, right? Now the band was definitely very present, but the guitar was kind of where the vocal would be normally on most shows, right? Because it's like the guitar is the vocal voice in that instance. But it was like really quite warm. There wasn't a lot of top end on it, you know what I mean? It was like the top was wound right off so that it never ever got harsh. You know what I mean? It was loud and it was very present. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. And then the boost setting I have here is actually just the same amp, but I've turned up the gain. Here it kind of gets flabby. Which is what a real amp would do. Like I mentioned, the Friedman, the BB, and then I add a chorus. Which surprisingly I get asked to do a lot. The 80s and 90s have come back, right? And then a wah. Which is just an auto wah. I could connect up an expression box when I want to do that sort of thing. Then I have a tremolo. It's probably my favorite effect of any effect. And then rotary. And on the rotary I have a half switch, so you press and hold and you get, here it ramps down like a real Leslie would. And I kick it again, ramps back up. And I like that for or for say Black Hole Sun or anything like that. That's kind of the thing. The rotary is nice. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's one of my favorite sounds. I love using that. I like things that kind of make guitars not sound like guitars. Crazy, eh? And then I can add any effects to this sort of stuff as well. I thought I had a pitch set up, but I haven't. Didn't work the other day. The multi-delay. Now it sounds crazy, but when you play that in the context of playing. Yeah, so that multi-delay kind of ends up just all rolling into each other. It's kind of fun. But I actually play with delay a lot. I really like having delay on my sound. I think I prefer delay more so than reverb, although I really like having reverb as well. I actually find it really hard to play without reverb. Unless it's a funk guitar thing, then that's different. But because what I find without reverb, I end up just playing more notes, right? I try and fill up the gap instead of just letting the reverb kind of spill over. Also, most people would generally say that a guitar sound with a bit of verb on it is nicer than one that's dry, right? But different with funk guitar. If it's a funk guitar thing, then I want it like bone dry. That, you know, just a little reverb is better. But if it's you know, anything else, I want some verb. But I like delay because what it does is it kind of catches your notes and it pushes them forward a little bit. At least that's how it sounds to me, right? If I play. You can hear, you don't really even hear it in there. It's just kind of adding to the ambience of the whole thing. Lucky Rabbit, hello. Stephen Beachy Music, hope you're well, man. It's funny, the old Telly neck pickup gets a bit of a bad rap. I don't know why, I really like it. I much prefer it. I much prefer it to a Strat, to pick up, to be honest, in the neck. I know most people really like the Strat neck pickup, but I find the Strat neck pickup to just be a little bit more sparkly, and I kind of like the rounder tone of the Telly. It's a little fatter and warmer. Let's compare. There's not that much in it, is it really? But I hate the Strat bridge pickup. That's the worst. It's just never sounds good to me. It's always too bright and no, I don't dig the Strat bridge pickup personally. Single coil, Telly bridge single coil. No, that's a different story. Let's go to that. That's it. That's the sound, right? It's just big and fat, and it's kind of in a better place, if you ask me. I think it's the way it's mounted to the bridge. I think it's the angle of it. I think it's the positioning of it. The bass plate underneath it too, the Telly bass plate. So if there's anything you want to know, let me know. I've probably got about, I think I could probably do 10 more minutes of this. So if there's stuff you want me to cover in the next 10 minutes, let me know. Please like the video if you haven't already. That stuff all helps. Play another track, eh? Let's find another one. Where are we? Can you hear the electric car next door? And the teenagers coughing away. My daughter had a friend stay over for the night, so they were, I'm sure they got very little sleep last night. Okay, let's have a look at this one. This is Spacey Fusion guitar backing track in D minor. Jammin' backing tracks. Wonder what this is. That's kind of a fun track. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's Spacey Fusion Guitar backing track in D minor. If there's anything you want to know, let me know. I'm going to have to shoot off in a minute. I got a show to play, and then we have to pack out of the theatre today, which is one of my least favourite things. You got to go and find your cases and make sure everything's in there, and make sure you haven't forgotten to pack something up, which invariably always happens with me. I forget some cables, some whatever. And then the least fun part of the whole job is you got to take your guitar part, you know, your music, and you got to erase all the pencil markings. So you sit there for half an hour just rubbing out stuff to try and make it, you know, because you have to they have to send them back they're hired. When they get the music, they hire it. It's quite expensive. Like, it's to a show like that, I think they pay a portion of the money. It might be like 30% of the show fee goes. There's not an easy way to make money. There is money to be made in music theatre though. But one thing I do find with the Tele though is this volume control is not quite in the right place. I can just reach it, but it's not ideal. I find the Strat is in a much better place. Right? That some people don't like that because it's kind of like too close, but I find that's really nice to be able to get your finger under while you're playing. I'm not crazy about this though. That's I hit that all the time when I play a Strat. You know, you kind of do this and you go, you know what I mean? But yeah, I guess you get used to that. The ultimate guitar, what would it look like? What would your ultimate guitar look like? Oh, thanks, Stephen. For me, it'd be a Tele Strat Les Paul 335 hybrid. Is that as much sitting on the fence as one can possibly be? Hey, look, I'm going to have to split people. It's now 12 o'clock. Just thought I'd jump on here and do this live before I have to go and play a show. So I'm going to go and do Bohemian Rhapsody one more time and Hammer to Fall and all that stuff, which are great fun tunes to play. Crazy little thing called love. Yeah, but thanks so much for everybody for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow with more Guitar Daily stuff. Thanks.